Moments podcast. This is Dr. TK, clinical psychologist and #1 branding coach for therapists. So in today's episode, we will be talking about what are some digital products that therapists can sell or add to their business as an additional stream of income during the holiday season and honestly throughout the year. So before we get into it, if you are watching this video on YouTube, make sure that you click the button and subscribe to my channel, and also share it with other therapists who are looking to brand and market their business. So this particular topic about digital products, it actually started becoming a hot topic in my Dope Therapist community. So in my Dope Therapist community, I am a branding coach. And so one of my signature flagship programs is called the Dope Therapist Academy. And that is a 8-week coaching program where I teach therapists to brand and market a profitable private practice, whether they are just starting out, whether they need to press the restart button, but nevertheless, we get them started, okay? I also have a membership community that is currently closed. We opened it up about 1 to 2 times per year, but for the year 2020, it is actually closed. And because we are approaching the holiday season, they wanted to learn more information about offering digital products. So here we are. So one thing you want to think about in terms of digital product is what is something that you're probably giving away for free. Okay. So some people give away information via video like this. Some people give it away via podcast. Some people give it away through social media live, whether it be IGTV, Facebook Lives, Instagram live stream, interviews on other people's platforms, but nevertheless, they're giving away free nuggets. And so as you're listening to this episode, I really want you to tune into what is one topic that you would consider yourself being either an expert in, or if someone asked you about this particular topic, you can talk about it for hours. One of the prompts that I give my therapists is, if I'm having a live event, for example, and I randomly selected you from the audience to come up to the stage, I'm speaking in front of, let's just say, graduate psychology students. What's one topic that you can talk about at the drop of a dime for literally like 1 hour straight? Okay. And whatever that topic is, that's what you want to think about in terms of creating a digital product for, just to give you some place to start. So now I'm going to go through a list and I'm going to give you information about how you can create, for example, your first ebook. So when you create your first ebook, I would highly recommend Canva. If you check my show notes, I've provided a link for you, but I use Canva to create presentations, digital downloads, checklists that I provide like on my website. And even for all of my coaching programs, me and my team create something like in Google Docs first, and then we'll transfer it over to Canva to put it on the nice layout and to go with our brand. Okay. So if you're thinking about creating a book, I would highly recommend that you start with an ebook first. One, because it's easier to get out. You can make edits as you go. You can put out your first draft just to get it out there. And then of course, people who are reviewing it or doing your ebook, if it's like activities, especially as a therapist, think about like a self-care help book, or a workbook that they would probably buy online anyway. Why not buy yours? They can give you feedback on it, and then you can edit the workbook prior to you actually creating the physical book. Okay. So something to think about if you're wanting to create an ebook, especially right now, is like I mentioned before, what is something that you're giving away for free right now to your clients? So let's just say if you work in your own private practice, or you work in a clinic, or you just work under the supervision or the umbrella of another company, what's one thing that you've probably created that you have in your phone, on your computer, in your mind, on random sheets of paper, in a journal? Like literally stop and look around you. Like to the left of me in my home office, I have literally about 20 journals to my left. Me looking on my desk, I have about 6. in my closet on another bookshelf. I have about 10. And what happens is when we hear ideas come to us via download from meditation, just kind of going through our day on our notepad on our phone, what do? We whip out our phone and we quickly write the notes. And the problem is now you have all this information and you haven't done anything with it. And if you actually took time out of your schedule to actually pull out all these journals and start to look at, is there a recurring theme, then you'll recognize that you have yourself a first ebook. Okay. So what are you giving away right now for free to your clients that you can actually put into an ebook? Something else you want to think about is, what have you made for your clients that you did not write down? So I know there's been plenty of times where I literally have been talking to my clients in sessions, whether it's been adolescents, parents, couples, families, or individuals, adults, and beyond, I'm going to say, a clinical strategy or intervention, I call them the Dr. TK intervention, meaning after it came out of my mouth, me and my client was like, oh, that was good. Where did you come up with that? And I'm like, I kind of just made it up, And so if you have those moments, make sure that you take time after the session, like when you're supposed to be hopefully taking a self-care break or doing your progress note. Make sure that you just have an open notebook somewhere on your desk or have your laptop up with a notepad and you just jot down like a mini process note about what just happened, because you never know how much of that information can actually turn into a digital or a physical product. Also, what are you low-key giving advice about and not documenting it? Now, this can be advice to family or friends. This can be advice that you're giving out on like social media platforms. People are asking you questions. If like me, you do a poll or you do submit a question on your Instagram stories or your Facebook stories, what are you doing with all that information? Let me tell you what I did literally about 9 months ago for my podcast. I had a lot of topics that I knew that I wanted to talk about, but I thought, wouldn't it be cool if I actually took someone's question that they had about their business and I actually made an episode about their particular question and gave them a shout out. So 2 times I did this, and I sent it out to my email list. I sent it out via social media, and I got a whirlwind of questions, and therapists were super excited because I went over the top with, I'm going to say, giving them value. And what I ended up doing is I recorded it on Zoom where they saw me answering their question, but at the same time, I was recording it for my podcast. So they actually received answers to their questions right away. But then I told them in about a few weeks, because we batch record podcasts, they are going to hear their question actually featured on my podcast. And then in the show notes, we gave them a shout out. So again, be very creative with how you're giving out content. But one of the ways that I believe that a lot of therapists are sleeping on is creating a product that you can then turn into another stream of income. So remember, not everybody can actually take advantage of your services. One, because, for me being licensed in the state of California, I can't do therapy with people that are in Texas, in New York, in Atlanta. I remember when I first wrote my foundations book, maybe about a year or two after, I opened up another Instagram page specifically called The Couples Mentor, and it was to advertise my foundations book. I started liking wedding planners pages, and what ended up happening was I started getting a lot of referrals from couples that were in Atlanta. And then I recognized that a lot of the wedding planners pages that I was liking were based out of Atlanta. So luckily for premarital coaching, it wasn't therapy. I was actually able to serve them. But if it's therapy services, if we're talking about functional impairments, mental health diagnoses, we know that we can only serve people within the state that we're licensed in. However, that doesn't mean that you can't create a self-help book for couples, for anxiety, for co-parenting, for grief and loss for children, losing a parent. Whatever your specialty is, it doesn't mean that you can't create an ebook to now serve people on a global context beyond your zip code, okay? So remember that you can service people who don't live within your state with an ebook, and you can also service people who may come to you and maybe they're your ideal clients with their characteristics, but due to the times or what they're going through personally, they can't pay for your services. So could you guide them, of course, to go find another therapist? Yes. But in the meantime, because that may take them some time, you may also be able to offer them your ebook. That can be a digital download. They can get that right away. And in the meantime of them searching for a therapist, they could be taking your tools and using it on themselves. Have you ever thought about that? Right? So think about it too as a self-help book or an ebook could be also priming people to get prepared for your service, whether that be for therapy, coaching. Do you do retreats or workshops or seminars? Do you have another program? Like I have coaching programs coming up. So sometimes a lot of my downloads are priming people to be prepared to make the investment in themselves if they view my services as being a good match with where their personal life or business is going, because not everybody's a green lighter in terms of ready to sign up for services right now. Okay, so some important disclaimers. What activities can they do with some instruction? Because you're not going to be there to guide them. So that's something you want to take into account. So a huge disclaimer, red flag, is be very mindful and careful. If you treat trauma in therapy, those should not be in-depth activities that you want to send someone home to do on their own. Because one of the main things that we do as a clinician is we help moderate or mediate their process of going through the grief and loss, talking about clearing out their baggage, bringing up things that are in their Pandora's box that was locked down for 5, 10 plus years. So you want to be very careful about the instructions that you're giving someone in an ebook. And you may want to start with something simple like coping skills to then get prepared to share their baggage with a therapist or through a coaching program or process. Okay. So we took an ethical, oath to do no harm. Be very mindful that when you have people talk about particular topics, like if it's a workbook, that they do not open up Pandora's box and start talking about trauma. And now they can't afford your services. There's a wait list with a therapist that they want to see or that's in their area. And now they're left with no one. And pretty much we've sent them back probably 5 to 10 steps from where they were, because at least maybe they were functioning moderately with having the Pandora's box locked and sealed. Okay. So do no harm. So other things you want to think about is they can't call you when they're doing a self-paced self-help book. So make sure that you're giving them very clear instructions in the ebook and make it very simple and concise. An ebook does not have to be like a Stephen King or like 500-page book. It can literally be 10 pages. Some people actually get overwhelmed when something is very large. Okay. Also, some of the things you want to think about when you're creating this digital product, this really gets into the logistics, is once you create the digital product, you want to have an extra set of eyes actually go through and read it for grammatical errors. You also may want to hire an editor or somebody who's just really good in English. An app or a website that I love to use is Grammarly. I'll also put that link in the show notes, but that is awesome because you can actually download it as an extension to Chrome, or you can upload it to their website and they will actually ask you particular questions about what type of voice are you using. Are you using an excited voice, a persuasive voice? You click the type of voice that you're using to deliver your content. And then what it will do is give you grammatical errors to fix and also suggestions of how you should speak when you're writing. Also, you want to keep in mind some of the graphics that you use. If it's an ebook and a download, be very mindful that people will be printing this out. So don't use a lot of colors, a lot of wild, bright colors, because we don't want to take everybody's ink. Maybe the cover has a color and maybe your photo and the inside has a color for your picture, but the rest of it may be black and white. Okay. Or if you print it on black and white, but it's in color, hopefully it still looks nice. So make sure that you also print out a copy for yourself to see what it actually looks like. Also, what platform will you use to have people download the digital product? So one of the carts that I've used and that I love for my downloads, for my online courses, for my one-on-one coaching programs when they sign up, is I use a website called Samcart. It's a beautiful, awesome one-stop shop. If you do not have a website, or even if you have a website, but you wanted a shopping cart to be able to deliver digital products and physical products if needed. If you wanted people to sign up for workshops, seminars, and you wanted to be able to create an automated funnel, create a landing page so that way people are not going to 5 different places. They can just go to one spot. It's literally drag and drop. You can link it with PayPal, with Stripe, or both. You can create payment plans. I have my membership site going through there. I have my coaching programs going through there. Check out the show notes. If you go through my link, then you actually get 14 days for free to try it out. And it is an awesome tool, and I love their stats. I'm a numbers, metrics girl. And so it also shares with you how many people are going to your landing page. What is your conversion? What is your attrition rate? Meaning people who are saying you're getting out of something if it's a subscription. What is your projected income over the next 30 days based off of what's been happening with your numbers? It is beautiful. And it links with other resources. So if you have an online course platform like I use Kajabi, then it actually gives them access to the Kajabi platform. All I have to do is literally click a button, and they have a lot of free training. So make sure that you check out Samcart if you're really interested in creating digital products, or maybe you have a shopping cart but you're searching for another one. I would highly recommend you checking out Samcart, and you get a free 14-day trial. Okay. So I use it, like I said, for digital products and then for people signing up for things. So as a recap, we talked about creating a digital product for therapists or as a therapist, especially during the time of technology moving so quickly. And this is a holiday season. Okay. So some of the things you want to think about in terms of an ebook is, where will you create the ebook? I would highly recommend that you use something like Google Docs first to write it out, flush out your thoughts, and then move it over to Canva. You can check out the link in my show notes for a Canva referral. Also think about what you're giving away for free, either to clients that you're giving away for free on social media platforms, on podcasts, on interviews that you're telling your clients in session, and you're just not keeping up with writing it down. Stop and take a look around your room. How many journals or how many note pages do you have in your phone that you can actually take some of that information, combine it if it's an overlap of the same theme, and be able to create a book? And then remember that you want to be cognizant of, because we're a therapist and because people see you as that, we want to make sure that when they're purchasing the product, we do no harm. So making sure that they understand with your instruction that you're not their therapist. They cannot pick up the phone and call you to help them through the workbook. There's no sessions to be followed. Okay. So we don't want to go dive deep into trauma. Okay. And then also, what are you going to do as far as the platform, editing, and graphics to create your workbook? So I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. Please let me know your biggest takeaway down below. Make sure that you subscribe and let me know what other topics you want to hear about in terms of branding and marketing a mental health business, whether it be products, whether it be events, or of course a private practice, whether that's individual or group practice. Okay. So I really hope that you enjoyed this. Please share this with your therapist community. And my name is Dr. TK, signing out. Love you. And I will see you in the next one. Bye.